pleasant good evening to you and a warm welcome to Newshour. I am Esther Sako. Coming up, EPI and partners validate 5-year gender integration plan to boost immunization uptake. SLMet launches 2026 seasonal outlook, and every windstorm displaces resident at Gonda hometown, Konode State. These stories and many more, including entertainment and sport, are lined up in this evening's edition of Newshour. Stay with us. Welcome back. We're beginning news this evening with one of our top stories. The expanded program on immunization in the Ministry of Health, in collaboration with Ginger Sofreco through the Sierra Leone Social Marketing and Development Agency, has validated the gender and immunization capacity building plan at a workshop held at the New Seller Sport, King Hammond Road in Freetown. Our reporter, Christiana Kamara, has more.
The engagement brought together officials from the Ministry of Health, development partners, civil society organizations, gender advocates, and the media to review a 5-year roadmap aimed at strengthening gender integration within immunization services from 2026 to 2030. The plan seeks to address gender-related barriers affecting vaccine uptake, especially among underserved communities, and zero-dose children across the country. The gender technical assistant, Ginger Sofreco Punde, said the document provides clear strategies for integrating gender considerations into all levels of EPI operations, from policy development to service delivery. She explained that the plan focuses on key areas, including staff capacity building, gender-responsive budgeting, strengthening monitoring systems, community engagement, leadership, and policy implementation. She further noted that harmful misconceptions surrounding vaccines, including the HPV vaccine, continue to affect immunization uptake, particularly among women and children.
We recommended for integration of other departments and also involvement of all levels of staff, spanning from the PM right down to the cleaner. We want them to be involved in gender integration, and we also encourage them to be monitoring the gender-related activities and indicators to ensure that they are achieved.
The expanded program on immunization focal person, Sister Margaret Kangbai, described the initiative as timely, noting that findings from previous assessments revealed gender issues as one of the major barriers to immunization coverage in Sierra Leone. She emphasized that gender discussions should include both male and female, adding that greater male involvement in child health care and vaccination would help improve immunization coverage nationwide.
So there was a time that we had a consultancy for gender barriers, looking at gender barriers. So GPIGO did a study to identify some of the barriers limiting immunization services, because there are times we are struggling with our immunization, our coverages. So we had GPIGO had to do the survey, and gender issues came out strongly to be one of the leading barriers to our immunization services. So that's why Gavi had to consult a firm, which is the Ginger Sofreco, and they attached 2 technical assistants to support the expanded program on immunization, making sure that we address gender issues in immunization service delivery.
Programs Coordinator, Sierra Leone Social Marketing and Development Agency, Sako Diama, encouraged men to support women and children in accessing vaccination services, stressing that immunization is a shared responsibility.
When the child is born, and if the child does not get his or her complete vaccination, sometimes it leads to polio, it leads to other diseases. Sometimes even for the female, it leads to cervical cancer when you don't have your vaccination. There are other complications as well if you, as an individual also get a vaccine. If you fail to get that vaccine, there are complications that you suffer. As an organization, we want to advise Sierra Leoneans that every Sierra Leonean should ensure that we come on board and ensure that immunization should not only be a female thing, but also men as well. I want to say to my compatriot men out there that we should also involve in vaccination.
The engagement also highlighted recommendations for stronger collaboration among partners, including UNICEF, World Health Organization, and other stakeholders to ensure sustainable gender-responsive immunization programming in Sierra Leone. SLBC News in Freetown, Christian Akamari reporting.
The 2026 edition of the National Seasonal Outlook and Forecast with agro-climatic characteristics for Sierra Leone has been launched at the SLMet Forecasting Center, Tower Hill in Freetown. On a model based on 30-year averages in sea surface temperature and humidity data, SLMet has reported an ongoing dry spell and lower than average rainfall at the onset of the rain season. However, higher than average rain is predicted for the peak of the rain season in July, August, and September, known as the Jas period. Gabriel Parker is the Deputy Director and Head of Operations, SLMet. He explained more on the 2026 edition of the National Seasonal Outlook and Forecast on a Good Morning Sierra Leone show.
So for 2026, the first thing we look into is the temperature trend, how hot it will be or how cold it will be. And we bank that across the 30 years average. In fact, throughout the season, we'll be having above, of course, normal temperature in the country. So there's going to be an increase in the temperature. So as it used to be very, very cold, it will pull out go to the season, it's not going to be cool. As it used to be 30 years back, let's say the 90s, and so how it used to be. In fact, you've already seen that when the season starts, it's going to start with a warming trend. Like the April, the May, the June, as they're going to the July, the August, there'll be a decrease in temperature, but the average temperature is going to be above normal. So our assistant focus have been very robust in producing the very best results here. And like for the tools you're talking about, firstly, the tools we're using are not produced by us. These are world-class tools that we use, like the CPT, the climate predicting tools, the one used by the US, the UK, and other countries. There's what we call the numerical weather prediction system. It's a model that have a lot of physics equation. We do have that, but the numerical weather prediction system is based in Bracknell already, in which all meteorological services will have access to those models, and we can do those configurations. And the very best part of everything that we normally do here, we also have weather stations, and that's why we only produce forecasts where we have weather station. For example, we have weather station in Freetown. They collect those data on a minute-by-minute basis, day-by-day basis, any data you use. It's just like when you're counting mathematics. If I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what do you say? You say 6, right? Because already there's a trend. So the trend is what each tools is going to use to do the forecast. And the very best part of this, everything is like the expert knowledge. We also have forecasters that are trained. In fact, we have up to 5 forecasters that are trained, and they'll have training meteorologists. Previously, it was not like this. The only challenge people can say about the trade is that the amount of people that are trained. But imagine in Sierra Leone, we only have, for example, 66 staffs. Before, when I joined the Met in 2010, when we look into the historical, Met used to have more than 200, 300 staffs. But imagine you just have 66 staff. So there's a lot of work. No, because one retirement comes in, that is one. And also, for example, attracting staff was also a challenge. But what we're doing, even with the limited staff we are performing our duties, for example, to scale. Because previously it was only like the aviation, but now we have within the meteorological agency, we have agro-meteorologists, we have people that only concentrate on agricultural meteorology. And one thing I will tell you, we diversify our services. So let me start firstly. The first service I'll provide in the country is the aviation meteorology. No plane will land or take off at the airport without the meteorological information. These are coded, we call them TAF and the meter. It's only us and the pilot and the constructor understand that one. And the most they change them because of hijackers. There is no flight that can pass through our areas without using our information. So whenever we produce them, we give it to them and then they can use it. That is just one aspect. In fact, we have staff at the airport. They are taking up to 40% of our staff strength. like that work on a 24-hour basis. The other aspect that we have at the meteorological agency is the marine meteorology, in which we have staff that are trained in marine meteorology. My first training was in marine meteorology. For the marine, we give the forecast, for example, we call it the way by the tide, high tide and low tide. The low tide is between below 1 meters is low tide, 1 meters above is the high tide. We also give them, for example, the wind speed. Because the wind speed and the direction can drift the boats. Of course, they're on sea, you understand? And they also give them visibility. Visibility, that is, if you're on the sea, how far can you see? Because there have been a time where we've been in courts, we've been invited. When we have, for example, a clash on this ocean, people tell them, okay, we have this accident, someone lost their lives because of weather event, we've had those information. So we are giving this information on a daily basis. In fact, we even train the maritime administration for them to understand our forecast.
Is Gabriel Parker, the Deputy Director and Head of Operations, SLMet. Now, away from that, bike riders at Ben's Garage have raised concerns over the Sal Combo daily ticket, claiming it offers them no benefits. Our reporter, Aminata Alimatu Kamara, has more that story.
Motorbikes remain one of the fastest means of transportation in Sierra Leone. At Ben's Garage, riders park their bikes either to wait for passengers or to rest after a long trip. Many say the Salcom Brew ticket holds no value for them, as they buy it daily without receiving any support in return. Abdurrahman Bangura, who has parked at Ben's Garage for 5 years, explained that the tickets do not benefit riders.
When I have an issue and complain to them, they take no action. They told us that if we buy the ticket and face any problem, they will intervene. But nothing like that is happening. I want them to do what they promise when we buy the ticket.
As riders continue to voice their frustration, Almami Kamara, who has parked at Ben's Garage Junction for 3 years, says the system is being used against them.
I buy tickets every day, but when I had an accident, they showed no concern. My bike has been at the police station for a week now, and no one from Salcombru has gone there to help me. I want them to fulfill their promises.
Every day, the entrance to Ben's Garage is filled with bikes picking up passengers. Yet, riders say bike management officials, BMOs, are making their lives difficult. Jibrila Bundu explained that the Salcombru daily ticket cost 2 Leon last year, but this year it was increased to 5 Leon.
Some BMOs at Ben's Garage target us. If they stop one of us and cannot get money from us, they team up with traffic police. The officers then ask for our license and other documents just to extort money. I want the president of the Bike Riders Union to speak on our behalf so they can reduce the price.
The riders say they will continue to demand accountability from Salcombru and the BMOs until their concerns are addressed. They are calling for a review of daily ticket system and for the Bike Riders Union to intervene on their behalf to ensure riders receive the protection and support they were promised. For SLBC News, Aminata Alimatu Kamara reporting.
Affected residents of a devastating windstorm in Gondown town, Banner Chiefdom, Kono District, are calling for urgent support from government and humanitarian partners. Local authorities describe the incident as the worst disaster in the town's history, leaving hundreds of homes destroyed and nearly 1,000 people displaced without shelter and food. From Kono, Joshua Sapetikoi visited the scene and sent us this report.
This is the worst incident ever recorded in Gandon town, the headquarters town of Bane Chibdom in Kono district. The incident, which occurred in the evening hours of Friday, 1st May 2026, saw a powerful windstorm swept across the town, destroying more than 100 houses and properties worth thousands of new loans. Most of the affected houses were constructed with mud bricks, making them highly vulnerable to withstand the force of the wind. As a result, hundreds of residents have been left homeless, with many now struggling to access basic necessities such as food, shelter, and clothing. The town, which is divided into several sections, has seen widespread destruction, with multiple areas severely affected. Some victims of the disaster recounted their experiences and described the current challenges they are facing. One of the affected residents, Kumba Amadu, said the disaster has not only displaced families, but also disrupted the education of their children.
When they talk to Papa government, for let and Gandong Banea, let send job for we, may send closer for them people. May they help for as they hold them up, because when they suffer, picking them back when they suffer, where the education don't go behind back. Because Buko would everything point at this social.
In some parts of the town, displaced residents have taken temporary shelter with relatives in schools and in other public facilities. Many were seen drying their belongings under the sun after the rains. They expressed concern over their current living conditions. Meanwhile, the Chibdom Speaker of Bane Chibdom Kono District, Chief Konkwa Aliu, told SLBC that the situation is critical, noting that affected residents are in urgent need of humanitarian assistance, including food, shelter, and clothing.
Right now, food no day, they may get resident now, rain pelang. The clothes they all rain on pelang. They don't get close. The first on zinc they day, if you walk right now, you see some zinc when we stick out and inside pantry they day. So this actually now food no day. The picking there now close no day, no nothing, no day, everything spoil. We spoil everything, and then urgency will one time. They would zinc back again, because if the season and the council, if the roof they all don't go, if you don't zinc your house quick, pass the breakdown till next year.
Authorities and residents are now appealing to the government and development partners to respond swiftly and provide relief support to ease the suffering of those affected.
Teaching and learning material, a lot don't damage. Even this morning, for them, we chop for right for the beginners. Registers, everything don't damage. So, as you can see up on the inside of the order on so. Even this net, we suffer with that rain come up. There's all the leak water and outside.
Let them help you for food, with clothes, for let them make you place. Because we don't get place. Right now, they spring. Picking them, they go school, and back then they spring. You see? Right now, for let them go school, it's not easy, because then clothes are all on point.
Now. We don't get food for eat. Then of course, all thing we get now is like a close. Everything don't spoil. All thing don't spoil per week. You see, right now we don't know what to do. You see, it's everything don't.
We make a place for waste. When I got food for eat, when I get clothes, when I get nothing property, all don't spoil now the house.
Well, like them kind of the way don't spoil now we earn, we pre to them. Or make them able to help with and they assist like them who begin a school business. You don't like now for pay the beginner school fees I don't know. We don't able to get all that thing. Now for let the beginning go to school self now. For the tell for it in all the day. So they pre to them, make them help with like the pan, make them help with France and then begin the school business, shop business.
Gandon town, the chiefdom headquarter town of Bane Chiefdom, here in Kono district. This is the worst disaster that has ever happened in the history of this chiefdom. Over 100 houses here at the chiefdom headquarter town of Gandon destroyed. Over 1,000 residents are left displaced without residents. They are calling on the government and humanitarian organizations to come to their aid. For SLBC News, Joshua Sapitikoi, Kono district.
Sierra Leone has hosted the 32nd Conference of Director Generals of Customs for the World Customs Organization for West and Central Africa. During the opening ceremony of the 5-day summit hosted by the National Revenue Authority, President Julius Maada Bio called on customs authorities across the region to embrace digitalization in revenue collection and strengthen regional cooperation to tackle illicit trade and transnational crime. As State House correspondent Margaret Senge report from the Freetown International Conference Center in Aberdeen.
The mandate of customs has evolved profoundly. It is no longer just confined to revenue collection. The modern customs administration starts at the front line of national and regional security, confronting threats that are complex, transnational, and increasingly sophisticated. Illicit trade, narcotics, arms trade, counterfeit medicines, environmental crime, terrorism, and smuggling of endangered species are present realities right across West and Central Africa. We face smuggling networks that drain public revenue and fear instability in our region. We continue to lose lives to counterfeit medicines disguised as legitimate products. The conclusion is unavoidable. We cannot confront 21st century threats with outdated systems or outdated thinking or mindset. For too long, ladies and gentlemen, a false assumption has shaped custom policy. The notion that security and trade facilitation exist in tension. No, I reject that assumption. Security and trade do not compete. They advance together or fail together. So ladies and gentlemen, vigilance, therefore, is no longer optional. It is a national obligation that we have passed through. Ladies and gentlemen, let us choose convergence. Let us choose strength. Let us together choose a future where borders protect our system and where our region prospers together. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my honor and privilege to declare open the 32nd Conference of Directors General of Customs of West and Central Africa region. I wish you fruitful deliberation, and may God bless us all.
The Inspector General of Police, William Fayaselos, emphasized discipline, professionalism, and strict adherence to the rules and regulations of the Sierra Leone Police. IGP Fayaselos was addressing police recruits at the Peacekeeping and Law Enforcement Academy of the Sierra Leone Police in Hastings. He described discipline as the bedrock of the SLP and admonished them to conduct themselves in accordance with the standing orders governing the training school. The IGP strongly warned the recruits against the use of drugs and other illegal substances, stressing that SLP maintains a zero-tolerance policy on drug-related activities. He further noted that any recruit who failed to meet the required standards during the training process would not participate in the passing out parade. He also called on the commandants to prioritize the welfare of the recruits, describing it as an essential for effective training, and discouraged the practice of individuals selling food to recruits. IGP Selu instructed the commandant not to issue passes to recruits until after the completion of 3 months of training and warned against the use of mobile phones during training sessions, noting that any recruits caught recording or posting training activities online would face severe disciplinary action in accordance with SLP regulation. The IGP informed the recruits that periodic assessments and tests would be conducted throughout the training period to evaluate their suitability for the service, stating that female recruits would also undergo pregnancy tests. He encouraged the female recruits to participate actively in all aspects of the training, reaffirming the SLP's commitment to gender equality and inclusiveness within the organization. He said family members are allowed to visit recruits on Sundays. And from there, the Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Affairs has officially launched the Troop Beat Cultural Music Initiative aimed at promoting creativity, cultural identity, and talent development in Sierra Leone's entertainment industry. The colorful launch also featured a musical competition involving 12 contestants, with Empress Liana emerging as overall winner. Our reporter, Owen Fox, has more on that story.
The atmosphere at Dove's Nest was filled with excitement as artists, performers, and music lovers gathered for the official launch of the Troop Beat initiative under the theme One Nation, One Sound, One Beat. The event showcased a fusion of African and Caribbean sounds rooted in culture and entertainment as 12 contestants thrilled the audience with energetic performances. Speaking during the launch, the Minister of Tourism and Cultural Affairs, Nabila Tunis, said the initiative was designed to support existing talent and create more opportunities within the creative industry.
And this is not just about music, it's about the entire ecosystem around music, the dancers, the instrumentalists, the managers, the stage performers, everything around the whole ecosystem. So what we started here today is just something, our own efforts as the ministry were responsible for all of these sectors.
She further stated that the program will help preserve cultural heritage while strengthening ties between African and Caribbean musical traditions. After several rounds of competition, Empress Liana emerged winner and received a grand prize of 25,000 leones.
Thank you so much, the minister, the ministry, and all the workers in the ministry, and all dignitaries in the house, and friends and families.
The One Nation Reggae Festival Volume 2 is set to take place on the 25th to the 30th November 2026 with new sets of vibes and excitement. The event ended with cultural displays, musical performances and celebrations from supporters of the winning contestant. SLBC News, Alwyn Roy Fox reporting.
The completion ceremony for the first cohort of Sierra Leone Excellent Skills Academy, jointly organized by the China Railway 7th Group Corporation Limited, Zhenjiang Railway Technical College, and Freetown Polytechnic, together with the Talk to China, China-Sierra Leone Youth Exchange Dialogue, has been held in Freetown. The event aims to showcase the excellent achievement of the Excellent Skills Academy, deepen China-Sierra Leone cooperation in vocational education, and promote integration and exchanges between China and the Sierra Leonean youth. Esther Nenekama witnessed the event and puts this report together.
A total of 26 students graduated from the first cohort of the Sierra Leone Excellent Skills Academy. with 8 outstanding students and 4 employer-appointed representatives who were recognized for their exceptional performance and commitment. Principal of Freetown Polytechnic, Dr. Samba Moriba, highlighted the importance of the Excellent Skills Academy in promoting technical education and youth employment in Sierra Leone. He expressed gratitude to God and all partners involved in making the occasion possible, describing the graduation as a historic moment for the first cohort of students from the academy. Chief Supervisor China Railway 7th Group Limited Sierra Leone praised the successful completion of the first cohort of Excellent Skills Academy in Sierra Leone. It described it as a major achievement in China's Sierra Leone Vocational Education Corporation, a pathway from training to employment.
You are the generation that will transform Sierra Leone, not with words, but with your hands.
The Economic and Commercial Counselor of Chinese Embassy in Sierra Leone, Wang Peng, reaffirmed China's commitment to supporting Sierra Leone's development priorities through initiatives like the Excellent Skills Academy, noting that they are not just building infrastructure, but also building people and lasting friendship between the two countries.
The complementary certificates in your hands, in your hands, are not only proof of your personal efforts, but also an brute force driving national industrialization and enhancing local technical capacity.
Minister of Technical and Higher Education, Dr. Ajara Matulaiwoye, commended China Railway 7th Group and partners for complementing government's effort in human capital development by creating shared programs, which, according to her, align with the national agenda to bridge the skills gap and create employment pathways for young people.
This is the model we must scale and institutionalize. We must move decisively away from fragmented approaches to training and towards integrated systems where policies, institutions, and industry work together to produce measurable outcomes.
Graduates were presented certificates and were encouraged to serve as ambassadors of skills excellence in their communities. Yusuf Kamara, on behalf of other students, expressed appreciation to CRSG and partners for the opportunity given to them.
Before joining the academy, many of us were uncertain about our future. But today, we live here with discipline.
The event also featured Talk to China, a youth exchange dialogue session, a platform created for open discussion between Sierra Leonean youth and Chinese representatives. Participants exchanged views on education, technology transfer, entrepreneurship, and other future of China and Sierra Leone cooperation. For SLBC News, Estanene Kamara reporting.
If you're just joining me, this is Newshour coming to you live from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation from Freetown. We continue with more stories. Findings from the Improving Child Survival in Africa, the role of azithromycin integrated with malaria control strategies survey disclosed that azithromycin combined with malaria prevention strategies could reduce child mortality across Sierra Leone. This disclosure was made during a high-level session on the ICARIA trial study involving the University of Sierra Leone and the Ministry of Health. The session was held at the Radisson Blu Hotel in Freetown, and here's the report. The Improving Child Survival in Africa, the role of azithromycin integrated with malaria control strategies, was a clinical trial said to have been carried out to ascertain whether azithromycin combined with malaria prevention strategies could reduce child mortality in Africa, especially Sierra Leone. It was disclosed that over 20,000 children participated in this major 6-year study launched in 2021, leveraging Sierra Leone's expanded program on immunization platform to administer azithromycin, a widely used antibiotic alongside Fansidar for malaria treatment. While providing an overview of the study, Professor Mohamed Samai highlighted persistent challenges like malaria causing 50% of under 2 mortalities in northern Sierra Leone communities, despite global declines in under 5 mortality. He emphasized the trial's integration of 3 azithromycin doses doses, expand promotion on immunization and visits 10, 14 weeks and 9 months to reduce all-cause mortality up to 15 months without burdening families. Presenting the results, Kwabena Owusu-Keyi from the University of Sierra Leone said short-term benefits showed a 51% mortality drop in the first 30 days post-intervention, reduced hospital visits, a strong safety profile for azithromycin. However, Kwabena Owusu-Keyi said 18% all-cause mortality reduction up to 18 months was not met. Professor Russell, Deputy Vice Chancellor of the College of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences, Comas, praised the trial as a model of collaborative research uniting national leadership, academic excellence, and global partners like IS Global.
They also demonstrated that high-quality clinical research can be successfully conducted in Sierra Leone at an international standard. Sierra Leone has the opportunity not only to contribute to evidence, but also help shape future survival strategies in high-burden societies, especially in sub-Saharan Africa.
Speakers urged collaboration to translate findings into policy, building on related trials like Multiply, which supported expanded SP from 3 to 6 doses, now adopted by the ministry. The session marked a milestone in Sierra Leone's capacity for world-class research amid COVID-19. World-class research among COVID-era challenges, fostering optimism for integrated interventions to curb child mortality. SLBC News, Esther Sako reporting. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Health, Andrew Sori, has called on public health officials to continue portraying hospitals as places of hope and assurance for the restoration of life. Mr. Sori made this call during delivering the keynote address at the maiden edition of the Hospital Performance Review meeting organized by the Director of Hospitals and Ambulance Services. Dennis Fraser reports.
To reduce stigma and outcomes.
The gathering brought together health and medical professionals from across Sierra Leone to review hospital performance, service delivery to the public based on performance contracts signed with the ministry and the general operations of hospitals nationwide.
It's important to have a time like this where we all sit together, different stakeholders. We hear what we have been doing together, and it's important also for us partners to become aware that our contribution, our support is a drop, but is part of a bigger network and a bigger plan.
As nurses and midwives, we are going to embark on continuous professional development. We are going to tag that to our promotions, and we are going to make sure that colleagues are also involved in making sure they build their capacity.
Addressing participants, the head of the Directorate for the Musa said the annual review meeting held under the theme Accelerating Action Towards 000 Strengthening Hospital Systems for Improved Maternal and Child Health Outcomes provided an important platform to discuss achievements and challenges in hospital care management. Mr. Musa added that the meeting also allowed specialists from various disciplines to develop strategies for the effective implementation of the Directorate's 5-year strategic plan.
So this strategy has 10 thematic areas, looking at from governance to legal reform to infrastructure, equipment, supply chain, the rest, community engagement, and all of those things. Yeah. So focus on all of those things because those small things are the areas where we've been missing out for a very, very long time in providing quality of care for our people.
The presentations by hospital medical superintendents highlighted key achievements recorded during the 2024-2025 review period, including increases in hospital admissions, uninterrupted delivery of vital health care services, and ongoing efforts to significantly reduce maternal and child deaths across the country. The medical superintendents reaffirmed their commitment to making health care accessible to all through a stronger and more effective health care healthcare performance system. In his keynote address, Mr. Sui commended the progress made within the health sector and urged public health officials to take prompt and decisive actions to sustain effective service delivery in hospitals nationwide.
We must demonstrate leadership. But just hold in mind the symbolism of a hospital, the place where people go to get their lives back. Continue to present that image in all of what you do. Present that image. So your hospital should look like a place to give life.
Stakeholders at the meeting also pledged their commitment to strengthen evidence-based practices and enhancing collaboration with partners in order to provide efficient, accountable, and quality healthcare services to the nation.
Sierra Leone's Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Dr. Ene Musakbaka, alongside the Deputy Minister of Finance, One Kadiatu Ali, has participated in the Regional Forum on Coffee Value Chain Development in Africa held at Marrakesh, Kingdom, Morocco. The Regional Forum was a landmark gathering aimed at transforming Africa's coffee industry from a raw commodity exporter into a competitive value-added sector. The forum brought together coffee-producing countries across the continent with a shared objective of strengthening coffee value chains through improved quality, processing, traceability, investment, and enhanced access to international markets. Co-organized by the Islamic Development Bank, the Kingdom of Morocco, the Africa Coffee Hub, and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, the forum convened governments, development finance institutions, public sector actors, and industry partners to advance discussions on inclusive coffee value chains across Africa. During the forum, Dr. Ene Musakbaka delivered key interventions highlighting Sierra Leone's commitment to revitalizing the coffee sector through increased production, value addition, market access, and investment in specialty coffee production, particularly Stefan Filtla coffee. The Deputy Minister of Finance, One Kadiatu Ali, stated that the government of Sierra Leone continued to provide an enabling environment for farmers through improved access to finance and other financial incentives aimed at enhancing the implementation of the Feed Salon program. The major outcome of the Sierra Leone's participation was the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security and African Coffee Hub Invest. The agreement establishes a framework for technical cooperation to strengthen Sierra Leone's coffee sector across several strategies areas, including the post-harvest handling, quality control, traceability aggregation, logistics, branding, value addition, investment preparation, and market access. Beneficiary countries including Sierra Leone, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, Guinea, Togo, and Uganda engaged in structured discussions focused on unlocking the potential of African coffee and supporting smallholder farmers to access international markets through the trade integration. And now, away from that, as primary 6 pupils are set to take the 2026 National Primary School Examination, Chief Proprietor and Director of Studies and Administration of the Beckham International Model Academy has assured parents that the school will have a 100% pass rate. Reverend Samuel Mamadou Kaba said the school has prepared its 24 NPSC candidates very well for the exams. Suleiman Babaturi reports.
Situated at the hilltop, south ridge of Hill Station, Freetown, the Beckham International Model Academy, according to its chief proprietor, Reverend Samuel Momodu Kaba, has been performing very well in public examinations. Reverend Samuel Momodu Kaba said, in the 2025 NPSE, the school's best pupil, Alimatu Jabi, scored aggregate 322. He therefore assured parents that the school would have a 100% passes again this 2026 NPSE.
For the past years, our last candidates will have something like a 255. And the assurance is that indeed we are going to have a 100% pass again this year. We know our teachers have done well. Our pupils also have been trained. And they can do marvelously well.
To prepare the pupils well, he said the school organized a spelling bee competition every month, literary and debating competition quarterly, radio news programs, and other educative activities. He said they ensure teachers teach and complete their syllabus. One of the school's 2026 NPSE candidates, Brewer, also spoke about how prepared he is for the exams.
Very hard. I've took my mock examination and I'm ready to make my family proud.
Though the school has been performing well, Reverend Kaba called on authorities for help as the school plans to improve its infrastructure, curriculum, and science laboratory, among others. He gave the assurance during the school's speech day and prize-giving ceremony, where the best performing pupils for the 2024-2025 academic year were given prizes. Among the prize winners were Alimatu Jabi, Best NPSE Candidate, Zainab Kouma, Best Beke, and Abigail Amadi, Best WAS Candidate. Other pupils were also given prizes for class performance. SLBC News, Sulaiman Babatu reporting.
From Sulaiman Babature, we now move on to other segments of the news, and we start with the entertainment news.
Hello and welcome to another update of our exciting entertainment news with me, Abdul Mansari. In this edition of entertainment news, Boise Krish represents Sierra Leone at the Africa Social Media Influencers Summit in Ethiopia. Tyler talks on the unfortunate video that went viral between her and Rihanna. And of course, Nigerian female artist Tiwa Savage awards over $2 million scholarships to boost young musicians in her country. Now, Boise Krish, one of Sierra Leone's most followed influencers and TikTokers, with over millions of followers on TikTok, Facebook, and other social media platforms, has represented Sierra Leone at the Africa Social Media Influencers Summit in Ethiopia. The event is said to serve as another crucial platform for African content creators to challenge negative portrayals of the continent and promote more balanced narratives about Africa.
5 years of madness.
Boise's participation at the two-day summit marks a proud moment for the country, showcasing Sierra Leone's presence on an international platform. The two-day gathering brought together some of Africa's leading digital content creators to discuss how storytelling, innovation, and digital connectivity are shaping communication, public engagement, and economic opportunities across the continent. Wow, what a great movement, Boise. As you're still there, remember that we got your back. Away from that, the Grammy Award-winning female artist Tyler from South Africa has commented on the uncomfortable video that went viral when Rihanna ignored her at the Met Gala 2026. She narrated how she introduced herself to her. However, she was ignored, stating Rihanna said her baby daddy, A$AP Rocky, was calling her. Tyler said she was like, "Oh, hey," and she was like, "Hi, my baby daddy is calling."
I went up to her, I was like, "Oh, hey," and she was like, "Hey, my baby daddy's calling me," and then she left, and I was like, "Oh, maybe she was busy." So I don't know, I felt awkward. What the heck, I felt awkward. I don't know how to say hi.
Whoa, the internet is really hot. What do you think? Drop your own comments in one of the comment sections online. Finally, the Tiwa Savage Music Foundation, in partnership with Berklee College of Music, has awarded 18 Nigerian students with over $2 million scholarships to study music in Boston, USA at the institution's campus. These fully funded undergraduate scholarships, presented at the 2026 Berklee in Nigeria Grand Finale, aims to empower young African talent with professional international music education. The atmosphere was electric and full of excitement as students were called for their awards. The beneficiaries will also receive professional training at one of the most prestigious music institutions in the world. This is a big step towards empowering the next generation of African creatives and expanding their opportunities on global stage. This is indeed what we call passion to grow the young. Keep it up, Tiwa. Well, that's all we have for you in this edition of Entertainment News, and I've been your presenter, Abdul Mansari. Bye-bye.
Many thanks to Abdul Mansari for the latest in entertainment news. We now move on to sport update.
Time, like every other thing, will write the final script in every endeavor. Welcome to the sporting updates that keeps you in the know. And by the way, my name is Abdul Kabir. Now, Sierra Leonean wrestler Gabriel Dolphin has secured an important win in Egypt after an historic African Championship outing. Here is the update. The 2026 West African Wrestling Championship held in Egypt from the 27th of April to the 2nd of May 2026 featured notable under-17, under-20 and senior categories across the Roman freestyle and a blend of raw athleticism with a high-energy festival in Egypt. Gabriel secured a fascinating opening with a win against DR Congo, where his performance was beyond spectacle, where he established a structured and professional pathway for Sierra Leone's emerging wrestling talent. He also noted that his outing in Egypt was a springboard for the country and the very many young wrestlers who are aiming to meet and exceed their aspirations, and a positive platform where talent can truly shine at the end of the day. The championship delivered more than just a technical fight, but it was a comprehensive experience for Team Sierra Leone. In a unique twist, the president of the Sierra Leone Wrestling Association, Prince Wale, lauded the incredible performance of Gabriel and keeping the country's recognition at a peak between rounds. The resounding silver medal success of Gabriel in the 86th kg freestyle category at the 2026 African Championship in Egypt has now signaled a growing domestic appetite for organized large-scale wrestling fight. By proving they can execute a professional outing in a challenging environment away from home, like with a new benchmark for the sport. With a renewed focus on grassroots development and increase in international exposure, Sierra Leone wrestling appears poised for a new era of sustained progress on the global stage. Now in the international scene, flip our attention to football. Arsenal and PSG are set for a fascinating Champions League final. Well, the road to the Budapest final wasn't an easy one. The two teams are square off for what will be an exciting showdown. And that ends your update, and thank you so much for watching. See you next time.
Well, from Abdul Kabir with Sport Update, let's outshare the curtains of the news this evening. But before we go, a quick recap of a main point. The expanded program on immunization and the Ministry of Health, in collaboration with Ginger Sofreco through the Sierra Leone Social Marketing and Development Agency, has validated the gender and immunization capacity building plan. The 2026 edition of the National Seasonal Outlook and Forecast with agroclimatic characteristics of Sierra Leone has been launched, predicting higher than average rainfall within a shorter period for 2026. An affected resident of a devastating windstorm in Gondon Town, Bani Chief Damkana District, are calling for urgent support from government and humanitarian partners. Local authorities describe the incident as the worst disaster in the town's history, and leaving hundreds of homes destroyed and nearly 1,000 people displaced. Well, that's our this edition of the news from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. I have been your anchor, Esther Saku. Stay glued to your public broadcaster, the SLBC. If you can, good night.